Welcome back to the Primal Reset podcast. We're joined today by Jet Lee Swift. He's a content creator, the founder of the Swift Union. He's a big supporter in mental health and a lifelong Jet, pleasure to have you. Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
So Jet, tell me a little bit about your inspiration into getting into fitness and wellness, and how did you know that was your path?
Honestly, it was more of just looking in the mirror and just wanting to improve myself. When I look in the mirror in the past, it'd be like, wow, I think I could improve my health. I think I could look better because there's always places you can improve, whether if it's mentally or physically. And for me, that's just one big thing was wanting to look better, not for other people necessarily, but for myself. I figured what would be better than the gym, getting jacked and looking good when your shirt's off and feeling confident about myself. But to be honest, I didn't know it would really become my passion. I think I just fell in love with like the process and seeing the progression and just improving every day. It's just really kept me going.
That's awesome. I mean, it's funny to hear that because so many stories and so many people I've spoken to, their stories kind of started where it fell into their lap, depending on what it may be, whether it's an injury that happens or something as simple as taking care of yourself, having that self-confidence and being able to wake up every day, look yourself in the mirror and feel good about yourself. And that's a big part, it's a big part of mental health as much as it is physically as well. Tell me a little bit about your story, your background. You and I have been friends for a long time. We used to play hockey together back in Florida. Tell me a little bit about your story and kind of what got you from the hockey world into the gym.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I'm sure you did, but we all wanted to be professional hockey players probably when we grew up. Obviously, not everything goes as planned. Moving up here to a different state in Minnesota it was definitely a change. I went from, hockey in Florida to playing people that, I mean, were around my age, but playing high school in Minnesota. It's much different because I mean, they take it super seriously just in high school up here, and it's the sport up here. And played 4 years in high school, then a year of juniors, and sometimes things didn't work out. And then I just looked towards fitness, which is what we did during hockey. And when we were doing fitness in our hockey, I mean, I loved it because I just knew, yeah, I'm going to be sore for the next couple of days, but this is what's going to condition us and get us better for the season and want us to, hopefully win games, win championships. So I looked towards fitness and I finally hit that record button and here I am making videos for hundreds of thousands of people and helping people every day, and it's just crazy to me how fast things can change.
Absolutely. And you've done a phenomenal job on social media, being a big presence within the space. How did you start? Starting in the gym, hitting that record button and having the confidence to do so, and then posting every single day like you did to gain such a big following. Walk me through your process. How did you do that?
I had just, like we all do, we kind of do scroll on social media. I saw a few people that I really liked the styles and the way they kind of did videos. And I think everyone that makes content, they all start off with their phones. And I had one of my friends and videographer, she used her phone. She had a better phone than me, to record me and posted that video. It took maybe a few videos before I started getting like good amount of views. And I say a few, I mean, it's probably about a dozen maybe before I started seeing a spike. And next thing you know, 3 months into it, I'm at 30,000 followers. And it's just like, whoa, okay. And that's just on Instagram alone. And I think just hitting that record button was like not only, I would say, a life changer, but maybe a lifesaver because the content I make is, regarding mental health and helping others. And just knowing that there's other people out there that are going through the same thing, or they reach out to me saying, "Hey, you helped me with this just because you made that video and I'm not alone." It's life changing and it helps people and it helps me.
I mean, it's an inspiring story to hear that just starting content on your own and having that confidence. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to post and they don't want to share about their life. And it's almost they're afraid of being judged to post what they're really passionate about. And for you to have that success with mental health has been a huge part of your life as much as it has pretty much everyone, to be honest with you, especially in hockey, going through the athletic mental side of things. It's definitely not the easiest, the ups and downs. And there's always everyone that's always struggling every single day with their own problems that we're not aware of, right? So for even a small piece of content that you're able to share with the world about yourself and about mental health to help someone with their own problems that you're not even aware of is something that I love personally. But tell me a bit more about the whole mental health side. What really got you to dive in deep with that, and what got you to focus mainly on the mental health side of things?
I think it was, I mean, for me, it was past experiences, stuff I've gone through, especially at a younger age. When I say young, I mean around 13, 14, but that really inspired me to try and kind of like put my voice out there. It wasn't me, going to a therapist to talk about it. It was just me showing the world like, hey, this is me and I want to help others. And just ever since I've done that, it's reached just a absurd amount of people and it's crazy to see.
I mean, yeah, that's it's great to hear that that's something that you've been so passionate about has actually worked on social media, and it's only growing every single day. And actually, to that point, to have other people help support the cause. I know you started the Swift Union. Tell me a little bit about that and what you're working towards.
So the Swift Union, it was all started from a mental health aspect of this is something I can wear to express who I am and that I'm not afraid to show that hey, I may be going through some things, but I'm not alone. So that's why this community I've built when people are wearing these clothing is it's just saying this is who I am and it's expressing your mental health without saying it. This is probably going to be where we cut on that
Yeah,
one.
you're good. You're good. I would say like give you a help what I'm thinking of, like almost like wearing a golf shirt, like you're a golfer. Um, in the same aspect, like I want to support mental health, and that's kind of why I'm wearing this brand. Or
Right.
like why do people wear Nike, Like is it because they have cool shirts, or is it because they like the brand of like the mission of that brand essentially?
Yeah, so I mean it's the story which I have a whole thing written about on the website on theswiftunion.com is that it's not just a piece of fabric, it's not just a piece of clothing. It's more than that. It's your life, it's lifestyle, it's something that you can wear to express yourself and what you've gone through in the past.
Yeah, and you can be proud of it as well. It's
Right.
it's something that we see a lot of the times with bigger brands as well, and a lot of the times we just like their clothing, but when you wear something that actually means something to you, and for everyone it's always different, but even wearing, your country's flag, like I mean, soccer is one of the biggest sports in the world, and we watch the World Cup, we watch it at the Olympics. Everyone's wearing their country's flag because they're proud to wear that flag. They don't really care what the condition of the product is as long as they're proud to wear that. And not to say that your product's actually really good. I actually have a hat of yours on right now and one of your shirts as well. It's definitely high quality. But to have that and I'm here to support mental health, but also support you as a friend as well. Back to going into the social aspect of things and how you've grown your followers and your brand. What's a fitness trend that you have seen and that you swear by? And what's one that you think that's a bit overhyped?
I think the main thing is just being yourself, staying consistent in the gym and nutrition, and just, I guess, having a balance of life between, I know, between work, your own life, and just being consistent with that. And something like that I'd probably see overhyped would be people telling you that gains are easy, you'll look like this in 6 months when they've probably been on, steroids or tests for the last 3 years, or and just pretty much it's not as easy as it looks. Especially I went from, let's see, I went from like chubby to skinny and then to what I am now. And it's just social media, especially nowadays, they try to influence you in a way that you should look this way at a certain age because you'll see, jacked 18-year-olds. And now the next 16 or 17 or 18-year-old sees that they're like, oh, I should look like that. Next thing you know, they're going to the gym, they're trying to eat healthy, and they don't see that progress in a year or two when this 18-year-old is, he's getting bigger every 3 months and it's like noticeable. And it's just everyone needs to listen to themselves, listen to their own bodies, and follow their own journey. Don't follow someone else's. I mean, you can get inspired by someone else's journey, but don't follow. Create your own path, Don't be a bus rider.
Absolutely. And I love that you use the word journey. I think in social media and the younger generation right now as well, we're kind of in love with the outcome of things as opposed to the actual process and the journey of it. And I think for myself personally, I see so many social media influencers who are fitness gurus or what they like to call themselves. And they always have these blueprints or these diet plans or these workout plans that they're mainly just there to sell, and there's not to say that not a lot of them do work, because a lot of them do, and it's definitely helped that influencer. But in the same aspect, like you said, you got to follow your own path, you got to have your own journey, and you got to fall in love with the journey, because it's not going to take a day, it's not going to take 6 months maybe for you to look exactly the way you want to look. And if you can wake up every single day and look in the mirror and be happy with what you see and be happy with the progress that you're making, that's one of the biggest steps for fitness. We're not all here to look the absolute best as a bodybuilder looks like, or as a fitness model by all means. And it's kind of an unrealistic outlook on how we should look, when the reality of it is, can you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and genuinely feel happy with how you look? Do you feel healthy? Do you feel good? Do you look good? And are you happy with where you're at? And just kind of falling in love with the process. As you kind of mentioned, that journey of yours and being inspired by other influencers, what's the biggest challenge that you've faced within your own fitness journey? What's the biggest challenge that you've faced in your own fitness journey, and how did you overcome
I would say getting started. I've always been inconsistent as far as going to the gym. It was more of just school. They would make us, work out 2 or 3 times a week, or like teams or something like that, where you work out only a certain amount of days a week. Um, Especially from coming where I came from, as far as being chubby than skinny. I looked like a twig. I have a video when I first moved here of me like caught a fish, I threw it behind me, and I'm just like looking at that photo, and even like a year before I moved up here when I was in Florida, and I was like, wow, I was like a twig. And it took probably 2 or 3 years for me to actually like notice the actual like definition and muscle building. And I feel like for everyone, whether, I mean, for a lot of things, getting started is the hardest part, especially, when you're building a business like you and I. And that was probably the biggest challenge for me, because I didn't know anything about nutrition. I didn't know anything about, time over tension and all this stuff. You kind of just have to learn on the way and figure it out as you go, and just stay consistent, and that's how you'll see progress.
I agree. Consistency is definitely one of the hardest things for a lot of us. Just kind of staying on top of it, and we all think that we have to have these hour-long workouts or 2-hour-long workouts. Or if you watch Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and him saying 5 hours in the gym every day, it's extensive, right? There's not a lot of time in the regular person's day when they have a corporate life, or if they have a blue collar job, or they have a family, they have kids, whatnot. And just getting that process started, and trying to exercise every day, even if it's a little bit, even if it's 20, 30 minutes a day, is just the start. What would your guideline, if you could share your guideline into just a basic, like, what do you think everyone should do on a daily basis for fitness and nutrition?
So I feel like I'm gonna do like by week. I think
Okay.
people should, have at least a day of rest. I think that was another thing that I had trouble with, was I'm like, I need to be in the gym 7 days a week, which, I mean, you can be, as far as maybe taking an active rest day, but you need rest and recovery. That's how you're going to build muscle. That was probably the mistake I made my early on my journey, but I'd say, set up your fitness schedule. So whether if it's push pull legs and then cardio or abs, something like that, just get in the gym, get moving. Even if it's not in the gym, it's a rest day. Take an active rest day, go for a walk, go for a jog, something like that. Just get moving, burn calories, and So it'd be creating that fitness schedule, and then nutrition wise, it's based on your goals. Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to lose fat and build muscle? It's dependent on everyone in their own situation, but just probably creating the fitness schedule, having good nutrition based on your goals, and then getting a good amount of rest because rest is where you're going to see progress.
Absolutely. I think rest is something that we always overlook when we start a fitness journey. And so that's definitely a good advice. Would you say, to kind of sum up the whole thing, myself personally, I go to the gym about 6 days a week or so. So I go 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on. So within a 7 day week, I am going to the gym about 6 days, and then it kind of swaps. The following week, it's about 5 days. Would you say that's a healthy schedule? Should I go, 4 days in a row and then have 1 or 2 rest days and then go back to the gym? Would you recommend me?
There's really no right or wrong answer. I think you just got to listen to your body. So if you're, let's say, doing shoulders for one day, and then next day you're thinking about doing chest and back or chest and tri, your shoulders might still be sore to do like chest and stuff like that. So that's where you could probably hit legs. It's all based on your body. What I try to do is I try to do like kind of what you do, 3 days on, 3 days off, or one day off. But I just listen to my body. If I feel fatigued in like one muscle group and I think I'll probably be using it in the next workout, then I might take the day off. But I know, people always like no days off, and realistically, you're you're not gonna grow. You're gonna hurt yourself if anything. But I mean, I used to be that way, and until I learned like having a rest day or two is healthy for you, that's when I saw progress.
Absolutely. And even active rest days, like taking the dog for a walk. And I know you have a new dog, a very cute Australian Shepherd, but even taking the dog for a walk or going for a walk on the park or in the park with one of your family members or one of your friends or whatever it may be is definitely something that will just keep those muscles building without tiring yourself out and, like you mentioned, hurting yourself as well. So, I mean, if we were to take this all away and say the very first simple step that someone can start today to improve their health and their mindset, what would you say that one thing would be?
I'd say, if you don't have a gym membership now, if you can, try and get one. And if not, I mean, I'm sure you could find ways at home. There's heavy stuff you have at home that you could do, even body weight stuff, push-ups, dips, something like that. Just getting started and then staying consistent with nutrition and working out. Because everyone says, I'll start tomorrow, and then it turns into tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then next, it's 2, 3, 4 weeks later, and that's 4 weeks of progress. You could be seeing progress within yourself. You could have lost those 5 pounds that you've been wanting to take off within those 4 weeks. So just getting started, kind of just putting your foot in the door, and whether if it's in the gym or if in anything, if you're trying to improve your mental health, I mean, for me and for a lot of people, the gym helps with my mood, um, and stress levels, and just overall just my mental health just increases going to the gym. And I know for some people, they have a therapist that they talk to. Hey, if that helps them, that's great. And if they don't and they need someone to talk to, that's, same thing. Get started, talk to someone. It's going to help you sooner than later. But just getting your foot in the door is kind of the way to go.
Absolutely. I agree with that. For me, I always say take the small steps first. Whatever your start in your fitness journey may be, if it's doing 5 push ups the first thing you do when you wake up, or if it's taking a walk the first thing you do waking up, or on the mental side of things to meditate first thing, or if throughout the day you're busy, you wake up late and trying to get in, 5,000 steps. Everyone always has this 10,000 step routine and that they're trying to hit. And if it's 5,000 or if it's 1,000 steps, wherever you may start in your journey, starting now to start feeling better and start seeing an increase in a better mood is something that I always try to preach to everyone, whatever it may be for you. And there's a million different things that you could try. Just start. Start today and look at your goal for a year and think back onto how you can achieve that goal. So if I want to have a 6 pack by the end of the year, what do I need to start with? Do I need to start with, walking every single day, trying to get a slimmer body? Do I need to start eating a bit healthier? And maybe I eat, not good whatsoever. So I'm going to start incorporating, some good fiber in my meals, and just one thing at a time. And then maybe a bit more protein, and then maybe a bit more carbohydrates if I want to, build that muscle a bit quicker and look a little fuller, or whatever it may be. I always say, take the first step, no matter how small it may be, take it and then move on with it too. And there's people like yourself that they can follow and kind of see how your journey is, and how you were able to take, yourself from being skinny in Florida, and being an athlete to, starting to bulk up a bit more than you wanted, and then, finding your path again, and starting to become the shredded guy that you look like now. To kind of end this all off, I want you to share where we can find Swift Union gear. I know I have some right here. I'm not giving it away, but where can we all find this stuff and support the cause?
We got theswiftunion.com. That's on social media like Instagram as well. You can follow. That's where we'll be posting like previews of upcoming drops, past drops, stuff like that. And just following that along, that's where everything will be posted.
Awesome. Awesome. So we can find you on Instagram. Can we find you on TikTok?
Nope, no TikTok.
All right. So Instagram is the place to go. Go follow the Swift Union if you want some cool apparel like this as well. Be part of the community. This isn't just a fitness community. It is also a mental health community. Jet, I appreciate having you on the podcast today. Hopefully we'll do something in the future as well. And I hope all goes well up in Minnesota, and hopefully I get to see you soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man.
Awesome. All right, perfect. So that'll wrap up the first podcast. At least we didn't do too long, so
Sweet.
that's good.